Hello viewers, welcome to the series on Business Regulatory Framework. The topic of this lecture is Consumer Protection Act 1986. This lecture is in continuation with the last lecture. In this lecture, we will continue our discussion on National Commission. The Consumer Protection Act 1986 talks about appeal. Any person aggrieved by an order made by the National Commission in exercise of its powers conferred by subclause I of clause A of section 21 may prefer an appeal against such order of the Supreme Court within a period of 30 days from the date of order, provided that the Supreme Court may entertain an appeal after the expiry of the said period of 30 days if it is satisfied that there was sufficient cause for not filing it within that period. Provided further that no appeal by a person who is required to pay any amount in terms of an order of the National Commission shall be entertained by the Supreme Court unless that person has deposited in the prescribed manner 50% of that amount or rupees 50,000, whichever is less. The Act also talks about the finality of orders. Every order of a district forum, the State Commission or the National Commission shall, if no appeal has been preferred against such order under the provisions of this Act, be final. Section 24A of the Act provides for limitation period. The district forum, the State Commission or the National Commission shall not admit a complaint unless it is filed within 2 years from the date on which the cause of action has risen. Notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, a complaint may be entertained after the period specified in subsection L if the complainant satisfies the district forum, the State Commission or the National Commission, as the case may be, that he had sufficient cause for not filing the complaint within such period, provided that no such complaint shall be entertained unless the National Commission, the State Commission or the district forum, as the case may be, records its reasons for condoning such delay. Section 24B of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 provides for administrative control. The National Commission shall have administrative control over all the state commissions in the matters, namely, calling for periodical return regarding the institution, disposal, pendency of cases, issuance of instructions regarding adoption of uniform procedure in the hearing of matters, prior service of copies of documents produced by one party to the opposite parties, furnishing of English translation of the judgments written in any language, speedy grant of copies of documents. Generally overseeing the function of the State Commission or the district fora to ensure that the objects and purposes of the Act are best served without in any way interfering with their quasi-judicial freedom. The State Commission shall have administrative control over all the district fora within its jurisdiction in all matters referred to in subsection 1. Section 25 of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 provides for enforcement of orders of the district forum, the State Commission or the National Commission. Where an interim order made under this Act is not compiled with the district forum or the State Commission or the National Commission, as the case may be, may order the property of the person not complying with such order to be attached. No attachment made under subsection 1 shall remain in force for more than 3 months, at the end of which If the non-compliance continues, the property attached may be sold, and out of the proceeds thereof the district forum or the state commission or the national commission may award such damages as it thinks fit to the complainant, and shall pay the balance, if any, to the party entitled thereto. Where any amount is due from any person under an order made by a district forum, state commission or the national commission, as the case may be, the person entitled to the amount may make an application to the district forum, the state commission or the national commission, as the case may be, and such district forum or the state commission or the national commission may issue a certificate for the said amount to the collector of the district by whatever name called, and the collector shall proceed to recover the amount in the same manner as arrears of land revenue. Section 26 of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 provides for the dismissal of frivolous or vexatious complaints, where a complaint instituted before the district forum, the state commission, or as the case may be, the national commission, is found to be frivolous or vexatious, it shall, for reasons to be recorded in writing, dismiss the complaint and make an order that the complainant shall pay to the opposite party such cost not exceeding 10,000 rupees as may be specified in the order. Section 27 of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 talks about the penalties. Where a trader or a person against whom a complaint is made or the complainant fails or omits to comply with any order made by the district forum, the state commission or the national commission, as the case may be, such trader or person or complainant shall be punishable with the imprisonment for a term which shall not less than 1 month, but which may extend to 3 years, or with fine which shall not be less than 2,000 rupees, but which may extend to 10,000 rupees, or with both. Notwithstanding anything contained in the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, 2 of 1974, the district forum or the state commission or the national commission, as the case may be, shall have the power of a judicial magistrate of the first class for the trial of offences under this Act, and on such conferment of powers the district forum or the state commission or the national commission, as the case may be, on whom the powers are so conferred shall be deemed to be judicial magistrate of the first class for the purpose of the Code of Criminal Procedures 1973, 2 of 1974. All offences under this Act may be tried summarily by the district forum or the state commission or the national commission, as the case may be. Section 27A of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 provides for appeal against order passed under Section 27. Notwithstanding anything contained in the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, 2 of 1974, an appeal under Section 27, both on facts and on law, shall lie from the order made by the district forum to the state commission, the order made by the state commission to the national commission, and the order made by the national commission to the Supreme Court. Except as aforesaid, no appeal shall lie to any court from any order of a district forum or a state commission or the national commission. Every appeal under this section shall be preferred within a period of 30 days from the date of an order of a district forum or a state commission, or as the case may be, the national commission, provided that the state commission or the national commission or the Supreme Court, as the case may be, may entertain an appeal after the expiry of the said period of 30 days, if it is satisfied that the appellant had sufficient cause for not preferring the appeal within the period of 30 days. Section 28 of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 provides for protection of action taken in good faith. No suit, prosecution or other legal proceedings shall lie against the members of the District Forum, the State Commission or the National Commission, or any officer or person acting under the direction of the District Forum, the State Commission or the National Commission for executing any order made by it or in respect of anything which is in good faith done or intended to be done by such member, officer or person under this Act or under any rule of the order made thereunder. Section 28A of the Consumer Protection Act provides for the service of notice, etc. All notices required by this Act to be served shall be served in the manner hereinafter mentioned in subsection 2. The service of notices may be made by delivering or transmitting a copy thereof by registered post, acknowledgement due address to opposite party against whom complaint is made, or to the complainant by speed post or by such courier service as are approved by the District Forum, the State Commission or the National Commission, as the case may be, or by any other means of transmission of documents including fax message. When an acknowledgement or any other receipt purporting to be signed by the opposite party or his agent or by the complainant is received by the District Forum, the State Commission or the National Commission, as the case may be, or postal article containing the notice is received back by such District Forum, State Commission or the National Commission with an endorsement purporting to have been made by a postal employee or by any person authorized by the courier service to the effect that the opposite party or his agent or complainant had refused to take delivery of the postal article containing the notice or had refused or accept the notice by any other means specified in subsection 2 when tendered or transmitted to him, the District Forum or the State Commission or the National Commission, as the case may be, shall declare that the notice has been duly served on the opposite party or to the complainant, provided that where the notice was properly addressed, prepaid and duly sent by registered post acknowledgement due, a declaration referred to it, this subsection shall be made notwithstanding the fact that the acknowledgement has been lost or mislaid or for any other reason has not been received by the District Forum, the State Commission or the National Commission, as the case may be, within 30 days from the date of issue of notice. All notices required to be served on an opposite party or to complainant shall be deemed to be sufficiently served, if addressed in the case of the opposite party to the place where business or profession is carried, and in the case of complainant, the place where such person actually and voluntarily resides. Section 29 of the Consumer Protection Act provides for the power to remove difficulties. If any difficulty arises in giving effect to the provisions of this Act, the central government may, by order in the official gazette, make such provisions not inconsistent with the provisions of this Act as appear to it to be necessary or expedient for removing the difficulty, provided that no such order shall be made after the expiry of a period of 2 years from the commencement of this Act. Every order made under this section shall, as soon as may be, after it is made be laid before each House of Parliament. If any difficulty arises in giving effect to the provisions of the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 2002, the central government may by order do anything not inconsistent with such provisions for the purpose of removing the difficulty, provided that no such order shall be made after the expiry of a period of 2 years from the commencement of the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 2002. Every order made under subsection 3 shall be laid before each House of Parliament. Section 29A of the Consumer Act provides for the vacancies or defects in appointment not to invalidate orders. No act or proceeding of the District Forum, the State Commission or the National Commission shall be invalid by reason only of the existence of any vacancy amongst its member or any defect in the constitution thereof. Section 30 of the Consumer Protection Act provides for the power to make rules. The central government may, by notification, make rules for carrying out the provisions contained in Clause A of subsection 1 of Section 2, Clause B of subsection 2 of Section 4, subsection 2 of Section 5, subsection 2 of Section 12, Clause 6 of subsection 4 of Section 13, Clause HB of subsection 1 of Section 14, Section 19, Clause B of subsection 1 and subsection 2 of Section 20, Section 22 and Section 23 of this Act. The state government may, by notification, make rules for carrying out the provisions contained in Clause B of subsection 2 and subsection 4 of Section 7, Clause B of subsection 2 and subsection 4 of Section 8A, Clause B of subsection 1 and subsection 3 of Section 10, Clause C of subsection 1 of Section 13, Clause HB of subsection 1 and subsection 3 of Section 14, Section 15 and Clause B of subsection 1 and subsection 2 of Section 16 of this Act. Section 30A of the Consumer Protection Act provides for the power of the National Commission to make regulations. The National Commission may, with the previous approval of the central government, by notification, make regulations not inconsistent with this Act to provide for all matters for which provision is necessary or expedient for the purpose of giving effect to the provisions of this Act. In particular and without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing power, such regulations may make provisions for the cost of adjournment of any proceeding before the District Forum, the State Commission or the National Commission, as the case may be, which a party may be ordered to pay. Section 31 of the Consumer Protection Act provides for the rules and regulations to be laid before each House of Parliament. Every rule and every regulation made under this Act shall be laid as soon as may be after it is made before each House of Parliament while it is in session for a total period of 30 days, which may be comprised in one session or in 2 or more successive sessions. And if before the expiry of the session immediately following the session or the successive sessions aforesaid both houses agree in making any modification in the rule or regulation, or both houses agree that the rule or regulation should not be made, the rule or regulation shall thereafter have effect only in such modified form or be of no effect as the case may be. So, however, that any such modification or Annulment shall be without prejudice to the validity of anything previously done under that rule or regulation. Every rule made by a state government under this act shall be laid as soon as may be after it is made before the state legislature. According to Consumer Protection and National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, the Consumer Protection Act 1986, in short, the Act is benevolent social legislation that lays down the rights of the consumers and provides there for promotion and protection of the rights of the consumers. The first and the only act of its kind in India, it has enabled ordinary consumers to secure less expensive and often speedy redressal of their grievances. By spelling out the rights and remedies of the consumers in a market or so far dominated by organized manufacturers and traders of goods and providers of various types of services, the Act makes the dictum caveat emptor, which means buyer beware, a thing of the past. The Act mandates establishment of consumer protection councils at the center as well as in each state and district with a view to promoting consumer awareness. The Central Council is headed by Minister in charge of Department of Consumer Affairs in the central government and the state councils by the Minister in charge of the consumer affairs in the state governments. It also provides for a three-tier structure of national and the state commission and district forums for speedy resolution of consumer disputes as discussed earlier. To provide inexpensive, speedy and summary redressal of the consumer disputes, quasi-judicial bodies have been set up in each district and state and at the national level, called the district forums, the state consumer dispute redressal commissions and the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission respectively. At present, there are 604 district forums and 34 state commissions with the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission or NCDRC at the apex. NCDRC has its office at Janpat Bhavan, A Wing, 5th floor, Janpat, New Delhi. Each district forum is headed by a person who is or has been or is eligible to be appointed as a district judge, or each state commission is headed by a person who is or has been a judge of the High Court. The National Commission was constituted in the year 1988 and is headed by a sitting or retired judge of the Supreme Court of India as discussed earlier. The provisions of this act cover goods as well as services. The goods are those which are manufactured or produced and sold to consumers through wholesalers and retailers. The services are in the nature of transport, telephone, electricity, housing, banking, insurance, medical treatment, etc. A written complaint can be filed before the District Consumer Forum for pecuniary value of up to Rs 20 lakh, State Commission for value up to Rs 1 crore and the National Commission for value above Rs 1 crore in respect of defects in goods or in deficiency in services as discussed earlier. The service can be of any description and the illustrations given above are only indicative. However, no complaint can be filed for alleged deficiency in any service that is rendered free of charge or under a contract of personal service. The remedy under the Consumer Protection Act is an alternative in addition to that already available to the aggrieved persons or consumers by the way of civil suit. In the complaint, appeal or petition submitted under the Act, a consumer is not required to pay any court fees but only a nominal fee. Consumer fora proceedings are summary in nature. The endeavor is made to grant relief to the aggrieved consumer as quickly in the quickest possible manner, keeping in mind the provisions of the Act which lay down time schedule for disposal of cases. If a consumer is not satisfied by the decision of a district forum, he can appeal to the State Commission. Against the order of the State Commission, a consumer can come to the National Commission. In order to help achieve the objects of the Consumer Protection Act, the National Commission has also been conferred with the powers of administrative control over the State Commission by calling for periodical returns regarding the institution, disposal and pendency of cases. The National Commission is empowered to issue instructions regarding adoption of uniform procedure in the hearing of the matters, prior service of copies of documents produced by one party to the opposite parties, speedy grant of copies of documents, and generally overseeing the functioning of the State Commission and the district forums to ensure that the objects and purposes of the Act are best served without interfering with their quasi-judicial freedom. Every matter filed with the registry is listed on the 7th day of its filing for admission before the National Commission. Functioning of District Forum, State Commission and National Commission is consumer friendly, and thus a consumer can file a complaint and also address arguments in person in genuine cases where the complainant, appellant, petitioner before the National Commission is unable to engage the services of an advocate. Legal aid is provided by the Commission free of charge. The CONFONET project has been implemented in the backdrop of the Consumer Protection Act 1986, which is a social legislation intended to protect consumers from all forms of exploitation. Under the provision of the Act, quasi-judicial machinery, namely consumer forums at the district level and the Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission at the state and the national level, were set up with the objective to make the fruits of the benevolent act reach its wide target audience. This project was initiated and an executive finance committee (EFC) was prepared to provide a turnkey solution at each of the district forum, state commission and national level, including linkages with respective state and central governments. Let us discuss the objectives of CONFONET. The project aims at improving operational efficiency, coordination, accessibility, speed in judicial administration, and to set information communication technology or ICT infrastructure at consumer redressal forums all over India. It aims at providing e-governance, efficiency, transparency, systematizing of working to achieve time-bound delivery of justice to the consumers. The CONFONET project has been catering to a wide range of beneficiaries with disparate needs and requirements. These include consumers, consumer activists and NGOs, members of consumer courts, bar councils, advocates, etc. The CONFONET project is a technical solution for development and implementation of a computer network based system for the application areas with main focus on case monitoring. The activities undertaken as part of the project include system study, design and development of case monitoring system, the standardized application software for NCDRC, SCDRCs and District Forums, specification, finalization and supply of suitable hardware for each of the 629 locations in phases depending on the readiness of the site. Procurement and supply of system software networking include both LAN and WAN. Training of staff on computer awareness and application usage. On-site deployment support through trained technical manpower posted at field locations. The CONFONET project aims at serving all sections of its wide target audience through the various services offered by it. Information on consumer rights and protection, consumers, NGOs, consumer rights organizations and consumer activists can access information related to consumer rights and consumer protection through the CONFONET website. Online cause list, date-wise cause list search has been made available on the website. All cause lists that have been uploaded by NCDRC, various state commissions and district forums can be easily accessed online. Online judgments, date-wise and free text search for copies of judgment uploaded by NCDRC, state commissions and district forums can be accessed on its website. Online case status and case history, case status and history of various consumer cases can be available on the website. The two options for case status search has been provided. Simple search. This option allows one to obtain the case status when exact case number is known. The other is advanced search. This option allows one to search for the case status when the exact case number is not known. The various search criteria includes complainant's name, respondent's name, advocate's name, case type, etc. Statistical reports for commissions and forums only. The members and the staff of the various consumer commissions and forums can access statistical reports regarding filing, disposal and pendency of cases at their respective commissions or forums. These reports are also available on this website. A graphical, attractive and easy to use interface for usage of the case monitoring system is available. Accomplishments of this system are automatic cause list generation, ready availability of case status, quick view of case history, quick search facility using case number, complainant name, respondent name, etc. Judgment search using the free text search. Automatic notice generation after one-time master entry. Various statistical reports generation. The state and the district forums at 629 locations have been supplied suitable hardware and system software in phases through a centralized procurement. The installment of computer system, peripherals, LAN and application software have also been undertaken. 3 types of training is provided under this project, and they are computer awareness programs for staff members, as this is the first time that computerization has been introduced in consumer forums. Training of technical support personnel on system administration and application software, including data replication, maintenance of network setup, backup, security and version management through a number of e-learning sessions for various locations. On-site training and the hand-holding support to the court members and staff on application usage. This is how the consumer interests are safeguarded through the Consumer Protection Act and its amendments. So this was the redressal machinery. Thank you, viewers.